despite the sell-off in Tesla stock we have seen over the past couple of days, there is now reason to believe we could actually see a very strong week next week, maybe even a strong January, and I will explain that in this video. This may or may not include a short squeeze, a bit of a continuation of a gamma squeeze, and overall bullish activity. Now, first and foremost, let's establish the truth, okay? If you are short in Tesla, you probably don't want to be, okay? I can't imagine any short seller that's excited about their short position in Tesla. I don't think anyone's excited about their short position into 2025 either. 2025 is going to be a great year for Tesla, unless there is some kind of disaster in the economy, FSD all of a sudden decides to fail or something that is highly unlikely happens. Tesla's going to have a great year next year. Tesla deliveries are poised to increase. Tesla's energy business is on fire. Services will continue to do well. Robotaxis are going to be launching in probably more than 2 states. Probably not just Texas and California, but we could be looking at New York and Florida, maybe Nevada, maybe Arizona, places that already have some Waymo capacity currently. Like, there's a lot to be excited about. Lower priced, cheaper Teslas coming here over the next couple of months, the Tesla Semi, okay? There's so much. And I don't think the AI trade is gone, okay? You might look at NVIDIA, you might say, well, dang, NVIDIA has not done well. Like, maybe the AI trade's taking a back burner. I think it's the AI enablers, right, that are taking the back burner. Your GPU providers. It's the AI appliers that will really win in 2025. The companies that are doing things, creating products and services with AI that will excel in 2025. And there is no better publicly traded company applying AI than Tesla. I mean, Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, once said, the holy grail of AI is self-driving cars. That's what Tim Cook said in 2017. Okay? There is no greater holy grail in AI than self-driving cars. It's a pretty strong statement. And with that backdrop, I don't think you want to be short in Tesla. I don't think anyone wants to be short in Tesla. Now, the question is, do short sellers cover on their short positions into year end? I think they will. But the bigger question is, does that drive Tesla stock higher? Because a slow and steady kind of methodical covering of a short position does not mean you actually see a short squeeze. Okay, if you get a bit of a gamma squeeze, if markets are overall pretty bullish, that can create the setup for a short squeeze. And I actually think following the news that we just got today, that may have just happened. Okay, we just got a very bullish catalyst. And this news is the government shutdown is averted after the Senate passes a bipartisan House stopgap funding bill. It is expected that Joe Biden will sign this legislation today, on Saturday. The bill funds federal agencies at current levels for the next 3 months and provides disaster relief and farm aid. The vote capped off several days of chaos during which House Speaker Mike Johnson tried and failed to meet the demands of President-elect Donald Trump. Now, as I explained previously, if the government did not get shut down, if crisis was averted, there really isn't much between now and, through the first week of January as far as economic data. There's really no earnings. There's really not much to hold our markets back at this point, okay? And after the quick reset that you've seen last week, specifically Wednesday and the better part of Thursday for the S&P, well, now you have a little bit more room to run, okay? Even the RSI on the S&P went from 70 down to currently 49. I talked about this in previous videos. The percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average is at 33%. I mean, that's pretty correctionary-like levels. Only 33% of stocks are trading above their 50-day moving average. That means 70 or 67% of our markets are currently in a downtrend. Yeah, that's not great. The Dow just had its 10 days in a row of a losing streak. It's down 3 weeks in a row. And that has not happened since the early 70s. CNN's Fear and Greed Index is sitting at 28. On Thursday, it was at 22, which was extreme fear. Typically, when you get this fearful this fast, as long as things do not continue to get worse, you tend to see a rally from that, right? You tend to see a bounce from that. So, is this time any different? I don't think so. Okay. Now, if we had been bullish this week, if we just ripped higher, then maybe next week would be good. But then we were setting ourselves up for a correction in early January because of the overly optimistic sentiment. We're no longer overly optimistic. If anything, we're probably a little bit too bearish. Okay, at least in the short term. Even the VIX, yeah, the VIX spiked to 28. It fell the last 2 days, but it's still sitting at 18.36, which is high. I mean, high for a market in which we really don't have any economic data or earnings coming up or anything else. Just the change of the calendar to the new year. And I don't think, as far as the economy, the bull thesis has really died at all. The economic data came in pretty good. Consumer confidence is up. PCE actually came in low on Friday, which was part of the reason why markets went higher. Now, Austin Goolsbee on Friday also made some comments that investors really liked. He said, first and foremost, that he expects inflation to stay at 2% and also expects to cut rates next year. And this guy says, think about how stupid he thinks you are. Now, that was a bit of reassurance because I don't know if Powell just had a bad day last week or what. His messaging was just really bad. But the summary of economic projections actually showed 2 rate cuts for 2025. But everyone on Wall Street was jumping to the conclusion that we're not going to get a rate cut for a long time. That maybe the Fed's setting us up for a hike, okay? Which the dot plot was actually in line with expectations, okay? So if Fed officials are going to start walking back some of the damage that Powell did, like Austin Goolsbee did on Friday, that is really going to give us some room for this year-end rally. Now, we do have some news today for Tesla, so let's share that. The TSA today proposed a new process to streamline reviews of exemptions filed by automakers seeking to deploy self-driving vehicles without required human controls like steering wheels or brake pedals. The ADS Equipped Vehicle Safety Transparency and Evaluation Program, known as AV-STEP, would establish a voluntary review and reporting framework for participating ADS-equipped vehicles. The program would be open to all companies that operate or plan to operate compliant ADS-equipped vehicles on public roads, as well as those requiring NHTSA exemptions to operate non-compliant vehicles. Also in the news, Volkswagen and their union agree to cut capacity and keep German plants open. Volkswagen agreed to keep the brand's 10 German factories operational and reinstate job security agreements until 2030, the Works Council said Friday. In exchange, workers agreed to forego some bonuses, reduce the number of trainees who get permanent employment, and cut capacity at 5 sites by several 100,000 units. It is also being reported that Tesla has secured a new $205 million Megapack contract to install 233 Megapacks in northern Chile. The big battery will be a 4-hour, 228 megawatt, 912 megawatt hour energy storage system. Operation will begin in 2026 and provide electricity equivalent to the consumption of 55,480 homes. A solar farm with a planned capacity of 422 megawatts is also part of the project. And the largest Tesla supercharger in the world just opened with a massive 120 charging stalls. It's located in Barstow, California, and has 495 kilowatt hours of solar canopies, and it's trailer friendly. Honda and Nissan are considering producing vehicles in one another's factories as part of their plan to deepen ties and potentially merge. Now, for Tesla stock on Friday, you had 575 different options trades totaling $392.37 million with a positive order value of 76%. If we take a look at the short activity, we actually seen about 2.44 million shares that were covered on apparently. Again, there was a bit of a push and pull with Tesla. Tesla really was hit with some fake news that caused the algorithms to sell Tesla stock. Like, we all know when we hear 700,000 vehicles are being recalled, that's not actually a physical recall, that it's most likely an over-the-air software update. But it never fails when you get a large recall. It just hits the headlines and the algorithms respond. And I think that's why you had some of the weakness on Friday. I think without that headline, literally everywhere, that headline was on every major news outlet on terminals, then Tesla probably would have been up over 5% on Friday. Nonetheless, that is over with. Wall Street understands. I would hope at this point that's an over-the-air update. That's not an issue, okay? You have short interest off your flow of 2.78%, $33.84 billion sold short in Tesla, totaling 77.58 million shares that are still sold short. And into year end, if you could see 20, 25, 30 million of these shares get covered, then I think that would lead Tesla stock to go much higher. And I'll talk about my expectations of where Tesla could go in the next week and really into January in the next video. But before we get to that, search trend data in the United States still looks pretty good. Cybertruck at 48, Model Y at 35, Model 3 at 27, Model S at 14, and the Model X at 11. If we look at worldwide search trend activity, it looks even better over here. Cybertruck is 73, Model Y ramping up again from 62 to 66. Model 3 actually fell a little bit from 56 down to 54. Model S continues to ramp higher, going from 21 to 25. The Model X as well, going from 13 to 16. So we're getting some pretty strong indications of a great Q4. And we will get those delivery numbers on January 2nd. And there's not really anything I think to be concerned with. Tesla's probably going to overachieve the 515,000 delivery number target. We really haven't seen any discounting as well for Tesla this quarter. There's been obviously some promotional activity, but Tesla's not really cutting prices like they were. In fact, they actually raised prices on the Model S and the Model X, and you can see just the big jump in activity for the Model S and X, literally going from 20 to 25. I've never seen that on Google Trends that fast. The Model X went from 14 to 16, and those two variants really never move. So I think there's a lot of great things going for Tesla heading into January 2nd. Tesla's global inventory numbers continue to fall as well. You can actually see it's starting to get pretty steep here, and that's a good thing. The lower the inventory, the better. That's something that Wall Street kind of freaked out about a couple of quarters ago, was the rise in Tesla inventory. Well, now GM, Ford, and dealer lots, Stellantis, they're all starting to have way too much inventory, especially as we get new models, new 2025 models that will be coming out. Tesla does not look like it has that same problem. Tesla's inventory was never as bad as those other companies, but it really looks like Tesla's inventory is a bright spot compared to everyone else. Now, Tesla is currently running about 5,000 different ads with Google. And again, inventory numbers coming down nicely. Sentiment over on StockTwits is bearish, or was bearish on Friday at 42. And on Thursday was bullish at 63. Message volume is currently normal at 46. Yesterday was high at 58. And the participation ratio is normal at 54. Now, Tesla stock from the high of $488 per share down to where you closed on Friday, including the move higher in after hours at about $423 per share. Tesla stock is now down 13.5% from its previous all-time high. I think you've reset a lot of what you needed to reset from a RSI level. You're sitting with an RSI of 60.75. You're no longer, really overbought. You're quite neutral, actually. And I mean, Tesla goes through these periods where you kind of rally, you hit a high, you come down a bit, you stabilize, and you rally and go higher. I think that is what we are in store for. Okay, as people look to position into 2025 and what stocks are going to benefit the most, I think it's, pretty easy to say Tesla's going to be a winner. And especially as the stock has fallen from 488 down to 421, 423 or so, you got a little bit better of a discount on Tesla. I don't know how low Tesla's really going to go unless something utterly goes wrong on January 2nd, unless, again, we have some kind of issue with full self-driving that prevents robotaxis from launching. But none of that stuff looks even remotely likely. Okay, so I do think a stabilization is in store, and I do think we move higher in this upcoming week. Now, with the government shutdown that is averted, next week could be a very strong week. I actually think the start of January could also be very strong, considering we have reset all of our sentiment metrics. Yes, Wall Street analyst price targets are still way too high. Okay, they're still way too bullish. But the current sentiment readings on our markets are pretty damn negative. And historically, there's only been 5 times the VIX has risen 60+% in a single day. And every single time markets have been higher 1 month later. So over the next 2-3 weeks here, do markets rally or do they fall? I mean, with the lack of data that we have, the good news, government is not being shut down. A million plus government workers are going to keep getting paid throughout the holiday. All of these things put together leads me to believe Tesla is going higher. Okay, that's just the bottom line. Again, I think without that fake news on Friday, Tesla would have done very, very well. Now, markets kind of slipped into the end of the day. I think some of that was just fearful about a potential government shutdown. And honestly, I think Monday could be a really strong day. But that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments section. But I still don't think it's off the table here that Tesla could even, through the first week of January, known as the January effect, be in the 500s. Now, I wouldn't hang my hat on that. I wouldn't bet the farm on that. I wouldn't YOLO my portfolio on that. But it makes sense to me. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm too bullish. Who knows? We'll see. Let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comment section. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you guys for those of you that support the channel each and every single day, that have joined the trading community, that sends super thanks on these videos, that show up and watch and like the video and subscribe if you have not done so already. I appreciate all of the support. And the more people we have that are interested in Tesla, statistically, I believe the higher Tesla stock, the better Tesla stock will do over time, because more and more of you guys are staying educated on what's going on with Tesla. So, thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekends, you overachievers, you. If you're watching this on a Saturday, congratulations. And I will see you in the next one.